Hello everyone, Gauss on this side. So today hand we are starting with a topic called as environmental issues. The last chapter of the NCERT book that is called as environmental issue. So let's get started. So basically first thing first we will be dealing with the definition of the issue of the environment that is called as pollution. So what does pollution stands for? So pollution is the undesirable change in physical, chemical or biological properties of land, air, water or soil. So basically pollution is in one single word it is undesirable change. Okay? Unwanted or undesirable change in the physical, chemical or biological property of air, land, water or soil. And the substance which is causing the undesirable change will be called as pollutant. Okay? Deal with. Now, dealing the first type of pollution that is called as air pollution. So here, in case of the air pollution, the thermal power plant, smelters and other industries are releasing particulate and gaseous air pollutant. The particulate and the gaseous air pollutant are present in the air and they are literally increasing the air pollution with harmless gases such as nitrogen, oxygen, etc. etc. But still these particulate matter specifically are responsible of a lot of different diseases which are now getting discovered in the humans which are living in metro cities as compared to the humans which are living in the village areas or the countryside. The electrostatic precipitator is somehow like it's is used for the control of the air pollution. It is also called as the air filter. Okay. Nowadays, Delhi government has given a plan that they are planting air filters in Delhi because the pollution, air pollution specifically level is very high in that city specifically. Okay. So the electrostatic precipitator can remove 99% of the particulate matter present in the exhaust form of the thermal power plant. And a scrubber is also there. The scrubber can remove gases like the sulfur dioxide. It can literally remove the gases like sulfur dioxide which is also present in the AC drain as well. There's a board here called a CPCB that is called a Central Pollution Control Board. CPCB is the Central Pollution Control Board which states that the particulate which is having less than 2.5 micrometer diameter, that is like that will be the particulate which can cause a great harm to the human health. So if any particulate is more than 2.5 microns, there is no issue. Okay? But if it is less than 2.5 micron, then it can literally cause great harm. The automobiles are main cause of the atmospheric pollution here. Okay? The automobiles are main cause of atmospheric pollution in the metro cities specifically, and the proper maintenance of the automobile as well. Do remember one thing, that in case of the smoke which is coming out of the automobile contains high amount of carbon monoxide. And the carbon monoxide is one of the poisonous gases by means that it binds with the hemoglobin in a covalent fashion. And whenever the hemoglobin is bounded with the carbon monoxide, it is never going to dissociate and it will never bind to the oxygen now. So once the hemoglobin has bounded to the carbon monoxide, now that hemoglobin molecule specifically is useless. That is the issue. Now catalytic converter contain platinum, palladium and rhodium as the catalyst. They are fitted into automobiles for reducing the emission of the poisonous gases, and as the exhaust passes through the catalytic converter, unburnt hydrocarbons are converted into carbon dioxide and water. Carbon dioxide does not play a very important role in harming the human health as compared to the carbon monoxide. So ultimately here the vehicles which are fitted with a catalytic converter should use unleaded petrol because lead in the petrol inactivates the catalyst. So the petrol should not have lead. Okay? Deal with. And in India, the Air Prevention and the Control Pollution Act came into force in the year 1981 and it was amended in the year 1987 to include noise as an air pollutant as well. So the noise pollution is also one of the subtype of air pollution. Do remember one thing, Prevention and the Control of Pollution Act came into amendment as year 1987. If you are preparing for a competitive exam, this question they may ask. Now dealing with the next type, that is called as water pollution and its control. So here, in case of the water pollution, here, the government of India has passed the Water Prevention Control Act, that is again in the 1974, to protect the water resources. Do remember the year for the water Water protection is 1974, whereas the year for the air protection is 1987. Domestic sewage and the industrial effluent. Yes, domestic sewage, that is the waste water from the domestic household products, whereas the industrial effluent are the waste water from the industries. The sewage that comes out from the house and the offices makes the domestic waste sewage, whereas point 1, yes, the 0.1% impurity, 0.1% even impurity can make domestic sewage unfit for the human use. Okay, deal with. Now, biological oxygen demand. So here BOD. So the microbes that decompose the organic waste in water bodies consume a lot of oxygen, which results into sharp decline in dissolved oxygen. Okay. Downstream from the point of the sewage discharge, this decrease in the dissolved oxygen in water bodies is called as BOD, which means increase in microbes can cause increase in demand of oxygen, that is called as biological oxygen demand. So increased pollution will cause increased BOD. And what will be the result? This may affect mortality of the fishes and the aquatic creatures, because if they are in abundant cases, specifically if I'll be dealing with the algal blooms here. So what happens with the algal blooms? The presence of large amount of the organic nutrient in water causes excessive growth of planktonic or free floating algae, that is called as algal bloom, or we can call it as algal bed as well. They are covering the complete still water body. Let's say for example lake or pond. They are completely covered by the green colored bed, that is called as algal bloom. And due to this the color of the water body gets changed, and this may cause the deterioration of the water quality and the fish mortality. Yes, specifically the water hyacinth, that is called as Eichhornia crassipes. It is the world's most problematic aquatic weed. Do remember one thing, that the water hyacinth or the Eichhornia is the world's most problematic aquatic weed. We also call it as the terror of Bengal. The terror of Bengal. So deal with. Now, biomagnification, or we can call it in the enhanced form biological magnification. This is the increase in the concentration of a toxicant at each successive level. It is called as biological magnification. This is common, like the toxicant get accumulated at successive trophic level, includes DDT and mercury. Okay, I'll be just drawing here like the trophic level. So here I'll be having producer, correct? Producer, after that like I'll be having primary consumer, then the secondary consumer, and then tertiary consumer, right? So if some toxicant is here, what will happen? It will get accumulated in the primary consumer as well, correct? 2 stars. Then in the secondary consumer it will be more 3 stars, because they are having like a lot of different consumers as well, correct? Primary consumers. Now the tertiary consumer will have here a lot of different stars. Why? And that is the reason why, because the tertiary consumer is consuming a lot of different secondary consumers, and that secondary consumer is consuming on the primary consumer, and the primary consumer is consuming on the producer. So here in the ecological chain, food chain specifically, the tertiary consumer has the highest amount of the toxins in the body, and that is none other than called as biomagnification. And basically here nowadays we are observing that 2 specific molecular chemicals that are called as the DDT and the mercury. Difluoro tetraacetic acid and the mercury are playing an important role in the field to be called as toxins or the toxicants for the biomagnification. Now dealing with the next topic called as eutrophication. So here the eutrophication, it is the natural aging of lake by biological enrichment of its water due to the addition of nutrients such as the nitrogen and the phosphorus, which encourages the growth of aquatic organism, and the accumulation of organic remains in the course of time leads to the lowing of lake. Eutrophication is basically the layer formation, I'll be calling, like the pollutant of man's activities such as the effluent from the industries and the homes, which are radically accelerating the aging of lake. This phenomenon is called as cultural or accelerated eutrophication, which increase the nutrients in the lake because of the pouring of specifically the domestic waste, that is called as sewage. Main contaminants include nitrate, phosphate, and that acts as the plant nutrient. domestic waste has a lot of nitrate and the phosphate in it, correct? And if you are pouring, if you are literally pouring the domestic waste in the lake, what will happen? A lot of different nutrient will be increased in the water, specifically the nitrate and the phosphate. And what will happen then? A lot of different plants will be growing there, specifically the algae. Okay, so and that will be responsible for the aging of lake, for the aging of lake. That is what cultural or accelerated eutrophication. Now dealing with the solid waste. So here in case of the solid waste, agrochemical and the other effects, use of inorganic fertilizer and the pesticide has been increased manifold due to green revolution for enhancing the crop production. And they are biomagnified in the terrestrial ecosystem as well, specifically the chemical fertilizers and the chemical pesticides. Now we have another organic farming which is called as a replacement for the chemical fertilizers. Here what we do, we are dealing with the integrated organic farming, which is a cyclic zero waste procedure in which the waste product from one processes are cycled as nutrients and in the other process to allow the maximum utilization of the resource, and they are increasing the efficiency of production as well. It is including the beekeeping, dairy management, water harvesting, composting and agriculture. What happens here in the organic farming? We are dealing, parallelly alongside with the organic farming, we are dealing with the beekeeping, even the dairy management, the water harvesting and the compost formation and the agriculture as well. So we are just recycling the nutrients one way or the other. Okay, and this will be called as organic farming. Now dealing with one of the most burning issue of this time, this is called as radioactive waste. Here in the nuclear energy has two serious problems. The first one is called as accidental leakage and the second is called as a safe disposal of radioactive waste. Because the radiation which is released from the nuclear waste is extremely damaging to the biological organism as it causes the mutation to occur at very high rate. Hopefully you do know. There are a lot of different radiation types which are literally making mutations here in the DNA, and that mutation will be carried forward from generation to generation to generation. Okay, there are some mutations as well which are directly causing the skin cancer as well. Okay, go through. Now the greenhouse effect and the global warming. So the greenhouse effect is naturally occurring phenomena that is responsible for heating the earth's surface and the atmosphere due to increase in concentration of carbon dioxide and methane, specifically carbon dioxide and methane. I'll be writing methane first, then carbon dioxide. Okay, deal with. So here the greenhouse gases, they absorb long wave radiation from the earth and emit it again towards the earth. The cycle continues till the earth's surface has no long wave radiation to emit. Okay, go through. So somehow here like the radiations are coming towards the earth, but they are not able to go outside of the earth atmosphere. That is the issue. And that is the reason that the global warming is caused due to the greenhouse effect. Like the polar ice caps or the glaciers are melting day by day. And the global warming can be controlled by cutting down use of the fossil fuel. We should avoid use of the fossil fuel at maximum and improving the efficiency of the energy usage as well. We should reduce the deforestation, which means the cutting of the forest. We should reduce the deforestation. We should plant trees, and at the end of the day we should slow down the growth of human population as well to avoid the greenhouse effect. The ozone depletion in the stratosphere is the thickness of ozone in a column of air from the ground to the top of atmosphere. It is measured in the term of Dobson unit, DU. Okay, so the ozone depletion in the stratosphere, and we an extra sentence I am giving you, that specifically the countries which are nowadays experiencing the ozone holes, they have more number of skin cancer subjects as compared to the countries which are not having proper ozone layer on them. Okay, now so due to the increase of the ozone degradation by chlorofluorocarbon, that is called as CFC, and HCFC, that is called as hydrochlorofluorocarbon, which are used in the refrigerator, the ozone in the atmosphere is increased. Okay, and the ozone depletion is marked over the Antarctic region as ozone hole. High dose of UVB causes the inflammation of the cornea called as snow blind cataract. UV is basically of three types: UVA, 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 this is non-problematic. Then UVB, this is causing the snow blindness. Then UVC is lethal. Whenever UVC is coming in contact of our skin, it will act as a lethal subject. Okay. Now the deforestation. So here the conversion of the forested areas to non-forested one due to human activities like the slash and the burn agriculture, which is called as jhum cultivation. This is basically practiced by the tribal people. Jhum cultivation includes the slashing and the burning of the complete forest, and they are using it for the agriculture. The use of the fertilizer and the cutting of the trees for industries and residential use. The main consequence of the deforestation includes enhanced carbon dioxide concentration. Yes, like day by day, carbon dioxide concentration is increasing. Correct? Okay. Loss of biodiversity as well, and disturbed hydrologic cycles, soil erosion, and the desertification. That's the formation of the desert. So basically, whenever we will be going through these things, we have to go through that we are experiencing loss of biodiversity, we are experiencing disturbed water cycle, we are literally experiencing, or we are the victim of the soil erosion, and one of the most important thing that the deserts are formed now because of the deforestation. Okay, they'll be. So hopefully this lecture has been beneficial for you guys. Thank you very much for your so much support. If you do have any kind of questions so far, you can ask me there in the comment sections as well. Thank you.